Shalom. Welcome, brothers and sisters, to my channel. So I was toggling between making two separate videos about what I'm going to cover in today's lesson, but I think that the irony is that Christmas Day, since Christmas Day has been celebrated around the world by many Christians and confused Israelite brothers and sisters that are still caught up in Christianity, I thought it would be probably fitting to merge these videos into one. And I know the Most High is guiding me to do so, and I think it's just interesting that it actually does tie in very nicely to both topics that I'm going to cover in today's lesson. So let's just get right into it. I want to talk about Christmas. First of all, when you look up Christmas online, it's pretty standard what you find. So you really don't know what you're celebrating, essentially. But I can tell you one thing: once you understand what Christmas is really all about and what you're really celebrating, Israelite brothers and sisters, I don't think you want to be celebrating it. First of all, you will not find December 25th in the Bible. Show me where you find the date of December 25th in the Bible. And where does it say in the scriptures, okay, not the Bible rather, but the scriptures, where does it say that it is, where does it say that it is our, it doesn't even say it's Jesus' birthday, okay? So, who you think is Jesus' birthday is not even true. So, let's find out what it really is all about. So if you Google Christmas, now another thing I would encourage you to do as well is when you look up Christmas, again, you're not going to find too much other than what December 25th is. You will get some information on that, which is very telling. But if you want to find out what Christmas is really all about, go Google, not Christmas, okay, but Google Sinterklaas. Not Santa Claus, but Sinterklaas. Sinterklaas. Because you'll understand what Christmas is all about, as well as Saint Nicholas, which is Niklaas, or Saint Nicholas. But you'll get a lot more information about Sinterklaas and what it's really all about. Okay, because what you will discover, it is the tradition of Christmas is all rooted in paganism, and that's what I want to help you to understand. So let's get some more information here. It says Christmas Day, meaning Christ Mass. And what's interesting also is in some Christian religions, like Catholicism, for example, they actually have, around Christmas Eve, they have midnight Mass. So why would you have a midnight Mass on Christmas Eve? That in itself is very strange, because there's other pagan cultures that go on that have midnight rituals as well, in midnight Masses. So why would you have that in the world of Christianity, which is very bizarre? But some do. Okay, but again, let's find out what it means. Christmas, or Christmas Day, meaning Christ Mass, is an annual festival commemorating the birth of Jesus Christ, observed most commonly on December 25th as a religious and cultural celebration among billions of people around the world. So let's stop right there. What's interesting, it says meaning Christ Mass. Okay, that's odd enough, but yeah, if you break those two words down, that's what Christmas means, Christ Mass, okay? But what kind of Mass is the question? So let's find out. May not be what you think it is. So, if you scroll down, it says, continues, it goes on to say, while the month and date of Jesus' birth are unknown by the early to mid 4th century, I'm going to repeat that, while the month and date of Jesus' birth are unknown. So they have no idea where Jesus, when Jesus' birthday is. They have no idea, okay? But for some reason, they selected the 25th. So I'm gonna repeat this again. While the month and date of Jesus' birth are unknown, by the early to mid 4th century, the Western Christian Church, that is the Catholic Church, had placed Christmas on December 25th, a date later adopted in the East. That would be the Eastern Orthodox Church, although some churches celebrate on the December 25th of the older Julian calendar, which in the Gregorian calendar currently corresponds to the 7th of January. Okay, which is, I guess, the same as the 25th of December. the day after the Western Christian Church celebrates the Epiphany. So let's stop right there, okay, in terms of December 25th. And let's find out a little bit more about that date. Why did they choose December the 25th when they know it's not Jesus' birthday? Sorry about that. So let's find out. Okay, now here's where it gets extremely very disconcerting. It says the Christian ecclesiastical calendar contains many remnants of pre-Christian festivals, that is, pre-Christian festivals, though the dating as December 25th predates pagan influence, so they say. The later development of Christmas as a festival includes elements of the Roman feast of the Saturnalia and the birthday of Mithra. Let's stop right there. Okay. Choice of December 25th. It goes on to say, one theory to explain the choice of December the 25th for the celebration of the birth of Jesus is that the purpose was to Christianize the pagan festival in Rome of the Dies Natalis Solis Invicti, meaning the birthday of the unconquered sun, a festival inaugurated by the Roman Emperor Aurelian around 270-275 to celebrate the sun god, and celebrated at the winter solstice, December 25th. Okay, so there are people that have talked about this and have said, you know, exactly that, what December 25th really, that the celebration was all about, is rooted in Roman paganism. It's a Roman pagan festival, okay, which they changed the name instead of festival to a holiday to celebrate the sun god, okay, that they celebrated during the winter solstice, December 25th. Okay, according to this theory, during the reign of the Emperor Constantine, Christian writers assimilated this feast as the birthday of Jesus, associating him with the Son of Righteousness, okay, mentioned in Malachi chapter 4, verse 2. You understand, they like to put their own narrative to the scriptures, which you know that's false. Because if you understand, there is no way a pagan god has nothing to do with the Son of Righteousness, okay? So, but somehow in the world of Christianity, they like to change the narrative to suit their own wicked agenda. So there you have it, folks. That's what you're celebrating on the 25th of December, okay? But I want to keep this going because I think it's very important to understand. We're going to dig a little deeper here. Now here's what's interesting. It's known as the birthday of the unconquered sun. Okay, so it was, they were celebrating a pagan sun god. Okay. Now, if you know anything about the history of a lot of the cultures in the, they call it the Near East religions, okay, and that would be Babylonian culture, even Egyptian, that Sumerian, that there was a sun god that was worshipped throughout all these cultures, and he had different names, okay? So let's find, and obviously in Rome he had a different name as well, okay? But you can see back then he was called Mithra, and they were celebrating his birthday around the same time, interesting enough, or Saturnalia or Zeus, but he always typically, you know, he had different names, but it all relates down to the same person. So how do we know all this? Well, let's go to Ecclesiastes. Now, there is a word in the book of Ecclesiastes. There's a verse. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9. I hear a lot of people, especially Israelites, that use this verse in the Bible, you know, in the scriptures rather, and they say, oh, there's nothing new under the sun. You know, and I hear them use that verse a lot, and even probably Christians use it as well. But what's interesting is, do you really know what it means? I don't think our brothers and sisters really know when they say there's nothing new under the sun. They don't really know what it means. Most people don't know what it means. but we're going to break it down and show you what it really means, okay? Because it's very important to understand that what you're reading is a translation, okay? This is, for our Israelite brothers and sisters, you are reading a translation that has been written over, okay, copied, okay, by the scrolls that they stole from our people when they dug up all of the archives in the Qumran caves. And throughout their travels, okay, throughout the centuries, they stole the scrolls that were in the hands of our people, and they basically copied and did their own translation. So you're reading the translations of your enemies. So you have got to understand that what you're reading is not exactly what it says, okay? What you're reading is what they want you to know, because it has been coded and encrypted, and they have used your own language, the ancient language of our brothers and sisters, known as the Hebrew language, which is not Hebrew at all, it's actually Aramaic, to encrypt, okay, the actual writings of our people, the scriptures and instructions that our Father gave us, so we wouldn't understand what the truth really is. Okay, but our Father is exposing it all, just like He's exposing them, because it says there's nothing hidden that will not be revealed. So even in their wickedness, okay, to mistranslate deliberately the scrolls and writings, sacred writings that our Most High, our Father in heaven gave us, His children, the house of Israel, they still cannot thwart the word of the Most High. The truth is coming forth, okay? And I'm going to help you to understand what it really means. Because what is key for our brothers and sisters to understand is you must understand the Aramaic language in order to understand the truth. And if you don't take the time to learn the ancient language, okay, it's not a dead language. It's what your enemies have used, and they continue to use to this day against you, okay, to encrypt what they have hidden from you. Until you learn, you will continue to be digging for treasure that you will never find. Okay, because all you're reading is a mistranslation by your enemies, mistranslated deliberately. And I'm going to do another lecture, another lesson on that to show you exactly the truth. And after that lecture, if you don't get it, I don't know what to tell you at this point. Because I'm going to show you really right there what they've done, and actually what they've admitted they've done. It's all there in the scriptures. I always say, you don't need secular writings. All these Israelite people run around, our brothers and sisters run around looking at the secular books. You don't need a secular book to understand the truth. Look to the scriptures that your Father in heaven gave you. It's all there. He will show you what has been hidden. So let's show you exactly what that really means, Ecclesiastes, because our brothers and sisters don't know what it really means. So it says, what has been will be again. Okay, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9. What has been, now I'm going to read a couple different versions here from, the wicked scribes in the world of Christianity, what they've written here. Okay, so it says in the NIV version, what has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Okay, so let's look at, and by the way, I have to agree, this one sister, Israelite sister, said, the older translations that you read, the older the translation, the better the translation, to tell you the truth. It's really true. Because the newer translations, that's why they keep doing translations year after year after year. The reason is to continue to encrypt the message so you don't understand what it means. And then, because they know that some brothers and sisters are getting, they're starting to figure some of this out. And as a result of that, that's why they're doing all these translations, so people do not figure it out. Okay? Alrighty, so what has, let's look at the, and this is again, New Living Translation. So this is a newer translation. It says, history merely repeats itself. It has all been done before. Nothing under the sun is truly new. See, this is what they want you to think, is that's what that means. That, nothing new under the sun means that history just repeats itself. That's not 100% quite what it means. It's way heavier than that. But I think that is the interpretation that many people, probably even the world of Christianity as well as our own people, have. They think it's about history repeating itself. No, it's more to it than that. Okay. And then this is the English Standard Version. What has been done, it will be. And what has been done, what will be done. And there is nothing new under the sun. Here's the King James Bible Version. The thing that hath been it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Okay, so I'm going to look at one more version. Let's look at the International Standard Version. Whatever has happened will happen again. Whatever has been done will be done again. There is nothing new. There is nothing new on earth. Okay, so they're just telling you pretty much the same narrative, which is, oh, history repeats itself. That's not quite what it means. Okay, so let's find out what it really means, okay? So if we go to, let's find out. Let's go to look up what that verse really means, okay, based on the Hebrew or Aramaic language. So the verse again says, okay, the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done, and that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. So let's find out what that really means. How do we find out what that means? Well, let's break the verse down in the Aramaic understanding, okay, based on Aramaic language. So if you look up the, those words in Aramaic, well, first of all, thing under the sun, let's find out sun. Sun in Aramaic, okay, or Hebrew, they say is shemesh. But you gotta understand, let's look that word up. Shemesh. You have to understand, they have basically played with the rules and changed. They like to play with the rules of our language. You have to understand, the Aramaic language is a consonantal language, which means there were no vowel points. Our brothers and sisters, our ancestors did not need A, E, I, O, U. They did not need vowels, okay? But they added vowels, okay? So a lot of the words that even you read in Aramaic aren't quite so. It's their interpretation of it, okay? Which is 9 times out of 10 false anyway. This is when you have wicked people tampering and corrupting your language. That's why the Most High says that He is going to create a pure lip and language, when He restores our people and us to our rightful inheritance, okay? Which is the land that He gave us, most importantly, Israel. Okay, He's going to have to purge this planet of these people, okay, as well as living on our lands, and He's going to have to purify everything as well as the language, okay, that they have corrupted. And that's why we're not going to have the scriptures in His kingdom, our Father in heaven's kingdom, because He's going to place the law and instructions in our minds and in our hearts, so we don't have this kind of meddlesome people, distorting the truths that our Father in heaven gave us in His law and instructions in order to serve Him. Alrighty, but let's understand what the word sun means. So in the word sun, it says sun, okay, it's shemesh, it's a masculine. They say masculine, feminine noun. Well, that's not true. It's a masculine noun, and we're going to prove that in a second. Alright, and it says the root word etymology from an unused root meaning to be brilliant. Okay, so if you look at the meaning of shemesh, which they say is shemesh, it says sun, sun rising. This is the meaning, biblical usage, or what they call the meaning of the word shemesh, which means sun. Sunrise, sun rising east, sun setting west of direction. Sun as object of illicit worship. Okay, that can also mean that. Also openly, publicly in other phrases, pinnacles, battlements, shields, as glittering or shining. Okay, now what's interesting, it also says sun is object of illicit worship. So let's stop right there, as illicit worship. So then understanding that, and also it means to be brilliant. Now let's read that translation again. Okay, it says that which has been is that which will be, and that which has been done is that which will be done. So there is nothing new under the sun. So now, to help you understand, in many of the cultures, okay, in the Eastern, ancient Eastern religions of these, of a lot of the, what they call Near East religions, be it Egyptian, Babylonian, Sumerian, Assyrian, they were worshiping deities, false deities, okay? And many of those deities were they were engaging in what they call sun worship. The sun that they were engaging in, okay, let's say the sun god in the Egyptian culture, for example, was known as Amun or Amun-Ra. That's why I don't say that word amen anymore, because that is just a spin-off from the Egyptian, the Egyptian culture of the word Amun. Now, if you don't understand that as a Christian, and they use that a lot in the word in the Bible, okay, because that's who they're really worshiping. And that's why I ain't going to put Ra there, because people will figure it out, but they say amen at the end of a prayer. Now, why would they say that? Because if you really look it up and find out what that word, again, they play with the rules of our language. So they took out the O and just added an E. Okay, that's what they have done. They've taken liberties, which are not their liberties, because they were not of our people, but they've taken liberties when they got their filthy hands on the scrolls, the sacred writings of our people the Most High gave us, and they made changes and made, put added vowels wherever they wanted to add. Okay, so, but sun worship was prevalent throughout the Eastern religions. Okay, and what is very disturbing about that, if you understand what that sun worship was all about, who else do they know as they call the morning? They call him the morning star. They call him the light bearer. His name is Lucifer. Okay, so Lucifer was also known as the morning star or day star, okay, because he was, as an angel, he is a being of light, okay, but there's also history behind why they called him the morning star, and you can check out one of my previous videos on all that. But there are many names they have given Lucifer in the Bible that they have hidden, and what I'm trying to explain to you, that is exactly what the word sun means. When it says there is nothing new under the sun, they are referring to not sun as in the sun that you think is the sun in the sky. They are talking about who they really serve, okay, which is Lucifer. They have hidden his name. That is not what it said in the original translation. It probably said exactly what it was, which was they were talking about Lucifer, okay. Probably didn't use his name, probably used his real name. But Lucifer has many names. You have got to understand that. And the people that serve him have hidden his name, okay, in the scriptures. And there are several verses that allude to his name, but they have hidden it, okay. So that's what they're saying. They're saying there's nothing new under the sun. They are referring to the worship of this false, okay, he is not a god, okay, but this false deity that they were worshiping back in those days. All those ancient primitive cultures, those Eastern religions known as the Babylonian, Egyptian, Sumerian, Assyrian, all those cultures, and even the Greeks and Romans, the Greco-Roman culture, what was going on back in the Eastern religions emerged as well in the Greco-Roman world. They just called him Apollo. Remember, they worshipped Apollo, Zeus. Apollo was known as the sun god. Zeus, same person, just different. He was under the guise of many different names. You have to understand, Lucifer is all about marketing. Okay, he has marketed himself in several different cultures. Alrighty, that's what he has done. So what they're telling you here in the scriptures is that there is nothing new under the sun. Okay, that is truly new, meaning that he's pretty much done he's marketed himself in all these different cultures, but pretty much under the, all these different names, but it's all the same pagan worship that was going on back in the ancient world, that was going on even emerged into the Greco-Roman world, because that's what Greeks and Romans were worshiping, these false deities, okay, Lucifer and his brothers, the fallen angels, known in the Greco-Roman world under all these Mount Olympus and all these false, gods, okay, because they were not gods, but that's what the Romans in the pagan world, in the Greco-Roman world, that's who they were worshiping, okay. But that was his name was Apollo, Zeus, all these different names, Jupiter, but that's who they were worshiping. He just marketed himself on a whole bunch of different names, and even in the world of Christianity, that's what he has done. So once you really understand the truth that nothing's really changed in terms of what was going on in the ancient world, that's all this verse is telling you. The type of false pagan worship that was going on in ancient times is still going on in the modern world today. Okay? That's what this verse means. That there is nothing new under the temporary rule, okay, of this world, of the temporary rule, because he's only here temporary, his time is short, temporary rule of Lucifer, okay, that who they have in this passage, they have hidden under the term son, okay, because he's also, remember, they also call him the son of God, right, because remember, the sons of God is also known as angels, but he is a fallen angel. Okay, so you need to understand that the more you begin to understand all of this, the more you begin to understand the truth. Okay, but that's what they were referring to when they were talking about this particular verse in this passage. It doesn't mean history repeats itself. Well, yes, history in many ways that is true, but it was way deeper than that. What it's talking about is the false pagan. If you read through Ecclesiastes, it is talking about this under the sun a lot, because it was talking about what Suleiman was trying to say was he was telling people what was really going on back in those days, okay, under, the temporary, rule, or reign, temporary reign of Lucifer, okay, which they have just hidden in this verse, in many verses in Ecclesiastes, as son. Okay, so how do you know this? If you still after this you still don't get it, well, let's look further into the translation, shall we? Yeah, let's do that. So we go back and look a little bit further into that translation. So now that you understand what son means, that it was also an object of worship under Lucifer, the guise of Lucifer, under his many names, relating to him being a son, in terms of, let's find out what else this passage is saying, which is the same thing. So it says, and there is no new thing under the sun. So let's look a little deeper here. So this word kadash, let's find out what that means. Okay, so if you still don't believe what I'm trying to say to you, brothers and sisters, check this out. Kadash, okay, this is another Hebrew word. Alrighty, so what does that word mean? Kadash, it means new thing, fresh. New thing, fresh, right? So now let's drill down a little bit more and find out how that word is used as an adjective. So it's describing something. So if we scroll down a little bit more, it says, it is often means fresh of this year of grain, but then, and that's mentioned in Leviticus and heard of, but then Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9, which we just covered, and verse 10, it says new gods, for example, such as had not been previously worshipped. So when they were talking about nothing new under the sun, and again, it relates right to that passage. It relates right to the passage. Ecclesiastes 1:9, okay, verse 9 and 10, chapter 1, it says, new gods, for example, such as had not been previously worshipped. So what they're saying is nothing new under the sun. What they were referring to is new gods, okay? There are no new gods that haven't been worshipped in those times that are not being worshipped today in the world of Christianity. Okay, that's what it's helping you to understand. But what they have done is they've codified it and they've encrypted it so you didn't understand what it meant. But that's why it's important to understand the language. If you understand the ancient language of our brothers and sisters, our ancestors, the Israelites, all of this will become clear to you. But if you keep reading from the translation of your enemies, thinking the English version you're reading, this Greco-Roman version, is what you're really reading, then again, it's like digging for treasure you ain't gonna find because you're using the wrong shovel. Learn the language of your people. More importantly, wake up, brothers and sisters. Okay? Because that's what's going on. The religion of Christianity is a false religion. Okay? It is nothing but a religion that was created by, I already explained. Now, why is Christmas December 25th? Why is that so important to what this particular verse that I covered here? It's so important, and the reason why it's so important is because what is December the 25th? It was originally what? The birthday celebrated of the unconquered sun. The unconquered sun, the sun god that the Romans, okay, their pagan feast day, their pagan festival day that they were celebrating their sun god, okay, that they were giving worship to. That Constantine decided to, what he called Christianize, which is really paganizing what was already paganized, okay, but under the guise of Christianity, okay, because it's not monotheism, it's all polytheism. Because think about it, in Christianity you have saints, you have all these false deities, okay? It is not what you think it is. It's just another pagan religion, and that's what Ecclesiastes 1:9 is telling you. It is just all you're doing is celebrating the birthday, okay, a day that has been pronounced a day to worship Lucifer, okay, his day. So do you want to continue to celebrate Christmas on December the 25th? Because that's what you're doing. You are celebrating by celebrating that the tree, everything is rooted, even the evergreen tree is all rooted in paganism, and that's in the Bible as well. If you find out and find out what the tree was all about, the evergreen trees, that was just a part of Canaanite, the Eastern cultures. That's what that was part of. Again, false worship, trees. So even that is rooted in paganism. Think about it. The Christmas tree, what do you put on top of a Christmas tree? You put a star. Okay? You put an angel. Because the star and the angel is relative to, again, the fallen angels. That's what you're worshiping. Okay? That is what you're worshiping. All you're doing is celebrating Lucifer and his brothers, the fallen angels, and his day, okay, which he obligates the people, his children, okay, to follow his birthday, or his day, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so if you want to continue to celebrate that, you just need to understand what you're celebrating is a pagan festival, a pagan holiday, a pagan feast day. Okay, one of the many false feast days that you're celebrating, like Easter, which is Ashtar. That's all it's about. That was Satan's consort, okay, in the ancient world. Maybe prior to that, she was Isis, and it just goes on and on and on. I mean, it's stranger than fiction, but there it is. So you can do some of this research yourself, because you should be. You should be studying to show yourself approved by the Most High, because you need to be seeking your Father in heaven in the truth. So wake up, brothers and sisters. That's all I can tell you. And hopefully this has sunk in, and hopefully this will be clear to you. Okay, but I've shown you the truth of what you're actually celebrating and what Christianity is all about. It's just another false pagan religion. Get up out of it. Get back into the laws of your Father in heaven, the Most High, and start to observe his laws, because that's what you need to be aware of. His instructions that he has given us, observing don't eat unclean meats, do not observe Sunday. Remember, why do all Christians go to church on Sunday? What is Sunday? Let's break that down. The word itself, Sunday, is the day of worship of Lucifer. That's what they're celebrating. Luciferian, just like Christianity. Sunday, it's a pagan day of worship, to worship Lucifer. Okay? That is not the day that our Father in heaven gave us to observe as his rest day. Our Father in heaven, which is Saturday, the 7th day, where he rested. So wake up, people. how much more do you need to understand before you wake up to the truth? Come into the laws of our Father in heaven and come back to the true faith of our brothers and sisters, our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which is the Israelite faith. Not Judaism. That's another false religion for the people that are pretending to be us. Wake up, brothers and sisters, to the truth and the laws of the Most High. And let the scriptures be your guide, because the Most High will reveal to you the truth if you earnestly seek Him.